Sorry? Okay, thank you. Hi everyone, it's Dali. I hope you're having a really lovely afternoon. I think the sun's trying to come out here. I'm not sure, to be honest. But I thought I would share the fancy floral and a few of the stamps and a few techniques today. So thank you for all the entries for the March Lime Challenge. We've got lots this month, so that's lovely to see. And as you know, we have brought out the new collections, which you'll all look like you're really enjoying. So I'd love to see what you're making with them. So what I've done is I've just made this from scratch, really. It's just a little album that I've started. Now, most of you will know that I am not an album maker by any means, but I really love this paper. It's actually my dad's favourite. It's a fancy floral. It's the 8x8 pad. It's absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous as they say. And so it really lends itself to this. So even to show you some of the inside pieces that really create a really nice waterfall bit. Let me just take this out. So we've given you like these toppers, so these would make really lovely pages within the book. But also what I've done is I've actually used those to create, oh, it's so beautiful. The papers are just so lovely. It's to create this really lovely waterfall effect. So that's from the papers. So you can see you can get these really lovely effects. I haven't done anything yet with these papers. All I've done is cut them and just used a little bit of the Distress ink around the edges. But you don't need to do much because they already speak for themselves. They're absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to put some white paper there so you can make some notes there, or you could put some photographs there. So, and then I've done another page on this side, which is just some little tags there. So you can again incorporate a picture there, a picture here, or you could actually do some writing. So you've got a little bit like that. Create some leftovers, some tags here. So it's absolutely, it's just a little book. It's a 6x6 if anybody wants to know. So all I did was I cut some chipboard 6x6, well, a cereal box actually. Cut a 6x6 and then a 6x6 at for the base, and then I just did a wider bit. I can tell you how much my wide bit is. Oh, I've got washi tape sticking to me, just so that if anybody does want to make it, they would know. So that's just 2 inches. So I've got 2 6x6 panels, 2 inches, and I've wrapped around the black card or paper, and then I've done the pockets 6x6 as well, and then I've just put those into there. So absolutely enjoying this because it means that you can use all your scraps. It means that you can then do other things with it. But I thought it's just such a lovely book that really lends itself to this sort of album. So let me show you some of the other bits that you could add in that I've done. So when people look at album making, they say, well, I don't make albums. And I always say, well, if you make cards, it's a very similar format. The only difference is you've actually got a front cover and a back cover in terms of having the pages inside. So I wanted to just show you. So if you wanted to, you could just, this is actually a little notelet card, but you could easily use this as a page within the book. So you could easily use that, and that could be a really lovely page. You could even put the tag into here. So you can see that you can really use, and you know, all of this. So if you wanted to, not that I want to cover the front page, you could easily put that in, and maybe I would cut this little bit out a little bit so that I didn't have so much white. But you can see how you could add the little pocket on there and etc. So that just shows you that you can take card making to the next level. So I'll take my little tag out. See how well it works. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you. Oops, wrong pocket. Let me just put that in there. Okay, So that was one bit I wanted to share. Now this is another card, and this is just layering it, but using, a lot of you have bought the Crackle Rose stamp, and I've used the Crackle Rose stamp and stamped onto this paper. And then I've done this other card, which is like an A5, which is really pretty as well. And you could put some little gems on it just to pull it through, or a bit of ribbon or something. Again, you could use this bit, maybe not the flower this way, but you could even use it this way. So you can see that you can easily use these as a part of your album pages as well. So it's always good to either, you know, have a think about it of how you can create these using the papers. So that was one way. So to use the paper, whether it's as card making or anything. Now I did want to share something that Jill did for us, and it's absolutely beautiful, and she's used the papers as well. Absolutely lovely. And this is like a little box that she's made, and then inside the box sits the coasters. Just get those out. Okay, so she's got this, and they are absolutely beautiful. Let me just pull them apart a little bit. So can you see how she's used the papers? So absolutely gorgeous. She's done the crackle on those. I don't know if it's, did she say what she'd done? I don't know if it's a random crackle because it's bigger. It's definitely doesn't look like the fine line because it's not as fine, unless implied thicker. But this definitely is beautiful. Let me put this way. Just coloured all the backs on them. They are absolutely gorgeous effect of them, and the papers work so well. So they make beautiful gifts, and you've got loads of toppers in there that you could create these from. So you've got some really nice coasters there. And again, you could do so much. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful the way she's done this. It's such a lovely gift as well. So, you know, look at your papers, not just for card making or mixed media. Look at it for home decor, look at it for projects. I mean, just look at that with a big red bow. That would look absolutely beautiful. So I want to say a big thank you to Jill Humphrey who did that. And do go onto her site on the Crafty Surgeon and have a look at some of the other makes that she's got as well. So today I thought, let me do something that you can add to your pages if you want to make it a bit more mixed media, or if you run out of paper. So today I'm going to show you how I've created this background and how I've come up with this one. So this is from the new Create Ink Art stamp, which is from the new ShokART range. I wanted to show you how I've used that. And I know a lot of you have purchased the Distressed Butterfly stencil, and I've used that as well in that as well. So those are the two main things I've used to create this background. Now this is going to be one of the pages that will sit, let me get this open, there we go, that will sit in my album, so like this. So that will be like that. So you can see how that works. So if you wanted to introduce something of your own, or you wanted to make some extra pages which were a little bit more mixed media, then obviously you can do that, and you can see how well that would work. So, you know, you don't have to always use the papers, but if the papers are there, you can use them together. You can then add your bits as well. So what I want to do is show you how I got to this point, and how I made this card. Okay, so I've just got the butterflies and the moments from the stamp collection. So let me get started and then I can show you. So what I did was I just took some white cardstock and basically I taped a little bit off just so that I could do my stamp. Obviously you can cut the page down if it helps to get it the right size, so that you don't feel like, I'm just using scraps, little bits of paper that I've used. But what I did was I wanted to know that I could fit my butterfly in, at least the butterfly, because I wanted the butterfly to be in the image. So what I did was I made sure that this second strip was a little bit wide. It doesn't matter if it's a lot wider, as long as it's not wider than your stamp. But I don't want it to be so wide that it is wider than my stamp, because then I might as well just stamp it and not actually set it apart. So I'm going to do it sort of like this, yeah? Now one of the things you have to bear in mind is you've still got the wording down here. So what I tend to do is you can easily take something like some washi tape or some Scotch tape and just add that to the bottom. Okay, so that way you've got that covered, so you're not going to get that impression. Okay, so the next thing I did was I decided to go with the Festive Berry as my colour. So because it matched the book, but also it gave you an idea. Just going to move that across a bit. I mean, you could do it in totally different colours, and in fact, shall we do that? So Dali always likes to live on the edge. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to choose a different colour because I can. Right, let's go for a different colour. I'm going to go for a turquoisey colour. Peacock feathers, because I can. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that down as well. Just tape's moved. I've got it roughly straight, so no worries there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp that into there. So I'm going to cover all the stamp with, let me come into the shot. So just going to take my ink, I'm just going to go over that. Okay, so you can see all I'm doing is running the pad over the stamp. This is a beautiful stamp, and you can take elements from it, you can use all of it. It really is absolutely gorgeous. And if you wanted to, you could do the whole page and then cut bits of that up. So I'm just going to position it so it actually goes over the two bands that I've put down. Okay, so just press that down. I haven't even taken the acetate off this one because I just love using it as a whole stamp. It's got so much going on in this that it's absolutely beautiful. Now you could have added a little bit of spray of water, which would give you more of a watercolour effect, which is also very, very nice. But I thought, no, I want to keep this like this. So I'm just pressing down. Just be careful when you press down that you don't move your stamp. Okay. So there you go. So can you see how beautiful that looks? Okay, it looks like I've just missed that little bit. I'm just going to bring that in, just a little tad, did you see? And then also what I'm going to do is, I want to cover these bits. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to use the bit of the stamp I really like, which is this bit here as well. And I'm just going to press that in there. And I'm going to press a little bit of it over here. So I'm not too worried because that is, there you go. So now we've got this really lovely composition already. Okay. Let me take that away. So now we've got this. Now it's up to you what you want to do with this bit, where you want to go with it. Now what I wanted to do is I liked the idea of doing some scribbles around it to start me off. I'm just going to wipe my stamp because I don't want that colour on it for now. And I just use the baby wipe. If you don't want to use the baby wipe, just spray it with water and then take a tea towel or something and then just wipe it. And I find that's a lot easier than taking kitchen roll or anything like that. Just make sure your tea towel is clean. Okay, so we've got this bit now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do some lines. I can't see your comments today, unfortunately. So I'm sorry if I'm not saying hello to anybody or I'm not answering any questions. I can't actually see the comments. So hello to everybody, if I've forgotten to say hello. I hope you're all well. So I'm just having a play with the Create Art ink stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of frame this, but you can now use a ruler or you can do what I'm doing. And then all I'm going to do is just go through and sort of do some little hash scratches. It just makes a little bit more detail when you're doing stuff. Okay, again on this side we're just going to take the pen and we're just going to go in. And it's not really, I'm not looking for perfection, so please don't worry about that. It doesn't matter if your lines are thick, thin, whatever they are. I mean, this is, you know, at the end of the day, it's your page. So you could use it as a journal page, you could use it as a part of your album, you could use it as the front of a card. So I just wanted to share with you that you could do, I'm going to the ends of this one, but obviously you would cut yours to fit whatever you wanted it to fit. So you can see there that I've got this sort of, now this image, yeah? So the next thing I want to do is I'm just going to give it a quick heat dry just in case there's any ink that's with it. I can't see the comments today, so I can't answer anybody. Calls just come up, so. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm taking this really mucky bottle now. It's called Toffee, it's called Fabric Mist. And as I've mentioned before, the fabric mists are actually thicker than the media mists, but you can still use the media mist. What I'm doing is I've actually got a piece of plastic here that I'm going to actually pour it onto. In fact, actually, I'll make it easier for you. You can see it on the mat then. So I'm going to start off with this bit, and all I'm doing is putting a drop down, and then I'm going to take my, see they're a little bit, they're thicker, oops, God, look at the mess I'm making. They're thicker than media mists, but they're thinner than an acrylic, so I like to work with them. So all I'm going to do is come in and just off the page, on the page, don't overthink it. Okay, just close your eyes if you have to, because I know it's hard not to overthink these things. Yeah, I'm actually going to carry on to the other side just so we can do a different effect on the other side if we need to. Okay. I know it looks like a little bit of a dally splodge, but don't worry about that. It will all come together. Okay, so once we've done that, what we now want to do is, we want to sort of, let me try that again. Look at how we're going to do this background. Okay. So you could even, if you'd done it the other way around, you could even fold this and use it like this, which looks really nice, and we could do that in the end. But let's just carry on with it as it is, yeah? So I'm doing both sides then. Okay, so the next thing I did was I took some Distress Oxide, just a vintage photo, and I decided to go over the background very, very roughly. I'm not worried about marks, I'm not worried about it being light or dark. I just want it to go over the background so that I don't have this white space. Now you could leave it white if you wanted to. And so I'm going to go in all over it. I'm not using a very thick cardstock here. So my table moves. So I apologise if I'm moving a little bit. So all I'm doing, now you could cut this into a planner, you could cut this down into a die cut with a circle, and if you wanted to. So you can do so many other things with it. So now we've got a little bit of colour into that. That's all I wanted, was some colour in the background, yeah? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of spraying on that just to lift some of that colour up. Nothing much, just water, normal water. And then I'm going to take a little bit of kitchen towel and I'm just going to put it over the top. Nothing too much to worry about. So I can lift a little bit of colour. Again, we'll add, can you see now that's added a little bit more texture to that, which you wouldn't have had before, yeah? So, the next thing I want to do is I want to put a little bit of this colour as well. Now this is up to you if you want to, but I'm going to just do that. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a piece of card and I'm just going to break that down. Don't want it too thick in places, because if you do that you will cover your cardstock, and I like doing this because I use this afterwards anyway. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick bits of that up. Again, it's all about adding texture to your art. Okay. And I don't mind that it looks messy or it's not perfect, because that's not the aim of this. It is meant to be a mixed media piece. Okay, let's wipe this away. Look at me, a little bit tighter than usual. Okay, so the next thing I want to do with this is I want to create some more texture in the background. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take actually a black ink and take a part of this stencil, and I'm going to take this bit. We'll start off with this bit anyway, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just spray that with a bit of water. Maybe not that much, but hey, done it now, it's too late. Okay, so just wipe that a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take that in a little bit over here. So you can lift that up. There you go. A little bit over here. There you go. And I just love this effect. Because now look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I like it. I'm going to put a little bit more water onto that side. Just make sure I don't want to get my ink pad, my ink pad wet, so I'm just damp dry it. I want a little bit more black on the other side because I like the way that bleeds through. Don't want to do it too much, but just a little bit. Again, a little bit of spray, not too much because otherwise it will bleed a lot more. And I want to bring that sort of like this. And again, you will see that we've got a little bit more coming on. Okay, so now, so it's such a lovely piece of mixed media now. So if you wanted, you could keep it sort of like this, you could keep that piece like that, you could add more to it. So it's just to give you little ideas of how you can use your stencils, how you can use your stamps, and how you can make these really beautiful backgrounds, just so that you can then put other stamps over the top, build up your images, and that way you've got absolutely everything going for you. Okay, so that's the look I wanted to go for. Now if you wanted to, we could also bring some of the blue in on this side with the stencil. So let's do that as well. I'm going to build in a bit of this circle bit here. So we've got a little bit of circles coming in, a little bit of this over here. So Paul's smiling, so everything must be okay, nothing's fallen off.
Working, just giving that a few more internets in.
Paul lets the internets in, they seem to escape.
Well, they stay in this room for some reason.
Yes. So what I'm going to do is, I want to bring that circle in, just there. So just press it down. And you'll see what a lovely effect this gives. See, I've actually used the whole page now, so just picking up any bits that I've got left. And this is a really nice way to work with your stencils. I love it. You know, there you go. So now you can see that's absolutely, you know, I should make a page out of that really, shouldn't I? So it's so beautiful. So if you're looking into, you know, journaling or any of that, this is a really nice way to do that. I'll start off with an album page. It doesn't look like the one I made earlier, obviously, but I did do the same techniques, just different colours, and it's amazing how different something can look when you just change the colour. Put that lid in there, because if I don't, now if you wanted to, just put my lid on that because I will knock it. If you wanted to make this a little bit more lighter in places, then all you need to do is take a little bit of your primer, your white primer. Let's put a little bit down here on my table. And, oh, really lost my primer then. Just spread it out, that's what I do. And you know, there's lots of ways of use. The primer's lovely because it's got like it's more of a chalky effect, so it gives you a totally different look to what you would if you use a white paint or use something. Like Pip was using yesterday, I'm used to using this little roller here. So we're hopefully getting Stamperia today. So if not today, tomorrow. So we will be able to ship that out as well. So I know a few of you are waiting. So all I'm going to do is, not a lot, and you'll see it's very, very subtle, but it's there. And that's what I love about it. Okay. And all I'm doing is just picking a little bit of that up and just taking it across. I know it's hard to see it on the camera. Let me see if I can show you a little bit closer. So can you see, it's beautiful. We started off with something really, really simple, like a white piece of paper, and we've come up with this so far. Okay, so now what we want to do is, and in fact I don't mind actually turning it over like this, and then I've got this really nice back on this side, and then I can, sorry? Hi Jill, I hope you're feeling better. I know you must be so frustrated. Jill's a workaholic, and she makes some beautiful samples like I showed you earlier for us, and lots of other people as well. So do go and have a look at her crafty surgeon. So I just wanted to show you where I've got to with this. So that's the page there. So it's really, really lovely. Now what I did with this page is that I actually put the butterflies on. Yeah. And I obviously framed this a bit more, and so you can see I used on this page, I started exactly the same. I used the red, used the same fabric mist, or you could use a brown mister. I've used the stencil but with the black, and then I've done the little butterflies, which also come from the Crate Art ink stamp. Yeah. So that gives you an idea of where that's from, and you can still add to this. You know, for example, you could easily, I was just thinking, you could add just to that corner that vortex stamp that we love from Journal Art. So say if you took the red, you could just add a little bit of that. And that's the beauty of these stamps, is they work with all the collections. And just look, you'll find that by adding a little bit of that, just here or there, oops, will give you just a little bit more detail. So can you see already it's broken up that space there? And it's things like that that make a difference. You know, you could put, you know, Pip's really lovely crackle stamp that I want crackle, she said, and that's what we gave her. We've got also this beautiful bit which is the Inspire Notes, and I'm going to use that as well. Let me put that, stick that back down on my stamps. So I'll move that way. So I'm going to use the Inspire Notes on here, and I'm just going to put some of the notes bits. So I'm probably going to take a bit of the black soot to do that, just so it stands out. I'm not going to do the writing, I'm just doing the notes bit. Okay, just to add a little bit more texture, and that's the beauty of these stamps. Like I said, this is from Moments, this stamp. So let me put a little bit here. Maybe a little bit, and I don't mind if I do second generation or stamping, which means that you just use the stamp and you do it again without inking it up. Yeah. So you can see that just adds a little bit more detail to that page. So you can carry on obviously adding as much detail, adding as many colours, and adding as many elements. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to do was, I think, because I wanted to do it different to the other one, because I don't want to do it exactly the same. Obviously it wouldn't work in my album, this one, because it's a totally different colour palette. But say if you did your album in turquoise colours or brown colours, you could work it in here as well. So it's just to give you ideas. And what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to do the girl. Now you could, there's too many choices. I want to do the bottles as well, but I'll do the girl. Okay, so what I'm going to do with the girl is I'm just going to stamp her onto a bit of white paper. Oh, will that fit? I think that will just fit. So it doesn't matter, I've just used it. So the best thing for me to do is to stamp her with a bit of Versamark, which is nice and dark, because I wanted to sit on the front of my book. So let me get some Versamark here. I could go and get a bigger piece, couldn't I, of my cardstock, really. That's what was at hand. Okay, so you can see, just by using a bit of your stamp background, a bit of your stencil, a few distress inks and a few sprays, you can really make some beautiful backgrounds. I'm not worried, we've got a few bits on these. So there we go. So all I'm going to do is, I'm just going to stamp her down. And you know what, I've never been a big stamper, but when I design the stamps, and I find it a lot easier to use, and so I really enjoyed playing. We've got some, we won't say, we're launching some new ones. We've got some coming out every month now. We'll have a pad, a stencil, rice paper and a stamp being released, and then in June we'll have the whole collection again. So it's going to be very, very exciting, very different. Okay, so I've just pressed her down, which is absolutely beautiful. Just going to give that a quick wipe with my baby wipe while it's still wet. Then just give it a quick wipe. Okay, she's a bit nice and clean now, or cleaner. So what I want to do is I want to cut her out, and I really want to put her at the front. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly give her a little snip out. So you don't have to be too careful, and people always say to me, oh, but you know, it's fussy and it's this. What I tend to do is I tend to just follow the design, and at the end of the day, if you just cut it out, keep your paper small, because I find that what people do is they tend to work with a really big piece of paper. And what I do is I go round first, just like this, and then I just go, and that makes it a little bit easier for me to work with. Just going to cut that bit off. Now you can go in with a scalpel, even a craft knife, whatever you want to call it, and cut that out. So, and you've probably seen me do that on other ones, but I absolutely love these stamps. I love the papers, obviously, and I would say that, but I think it's really important you see how we work with the stamps, how other people work with the stamps. Everybody works differently. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to cut across, and I've just cut across like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to nip a little bit of that out, so I think it looks nicer to me. There we go. So you see, and then I'm going to cut a sort of a little mini triangle, so we've got a little bit of an opening on both sides, so that I can actually pull the wings up. Okay, so that's really easy. Did you see how easy that was? Now I am tempted to cut those bits in the middle, so I'm going to cheat. I'm actually going to go in, and I've designed it so you can cheat. So I do think about all you people out there like me who don't like cutting it with a craft knife. So can you see how easy that was? just snipped into it, but nobody's going to know any different. A bit more closer, there you go, that's good enough for me. And now what I want to do is I want her to sit at the front, but can now you see, that's not very good English, is it? How that's all going to work. So we've got this like little booklet now, so we fold it. Let's fold it. I don't even know if I've cut it. It was just a piece I had lying around and I just decided, oh, that'd be nice to use. So you've got this really nice, now this could become a pocket in your journal page. You could put some writing paper inside. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is, I feel that's great and I like that, but we've got a bit of space here. Now what do I want to do? Do I want to put a little balloon on it? Let's have a look. I like this because I can. And I think I might, I'll stamp it, see if I like it. If I don't, then I can revisit that. So there's nothing wasted, just a little bit of paper, if I can even find a little bit of paper at this moment in time. Look, I've got all these scraps everywhere. I'm going to just use this bit. I should really go and grab a bit, but now I don't want that as dark as I had the actual image, so I'm going to go with this sort of sooty colour. Okay, again, I'm just going to put that just on the page, and I'm just going to go for it. But can you see how easy it is to make these beautiful backgrounds? And just to add these stamps just to make it pop. So that's what I wanted. I wanted it not to be so dark. Now, again, just cut around it. And you can always use a little bit of your, I'll show you, I'm going to use my fabric brown mist just to edge the edges, to take away some of the harshness. So again, make it smaller because it's a lot easier to work with. There you go. And the thing is, as long as you're reasonably okay with it, and even the edges, you can easily cover up with some your inks and stuff. It's very forgiving anyway, the stamps. So I'm on quite thin paper here. There we go. Move that out of the way. Look at my nice mess today. Right, so what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take, you could take a wet brush. I don't even know if I've got any water in this. And all I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take a little bit of the brown mister again, just put it on my plastic sheet. And what I'm going to do is just lift some of that and then take it to the edges. And what that will do is, it just takes away those harsh white lines, adds a little bit of colour to the balloon as well. So I'm just going to colour that a bit. I don't want it to be bright white, basically. That's what I'm trying to take away from it. So I don't want too many white bits. If you want some shadowing, then add, because the black will move, by the way, because it is not versifying. Yeah. So what I want that to do is I want it to sit there like that. But can you see how that works? Now, what I want to do there is I want to add a little bit of blue to that, because I feel that it's too black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, take a little bit of that script writing. Let's try this bit here. And that's the beauty of having these stamps. And this time I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to take it this way. Okay, so that makes it easier rather than me turning it over. So, and then what you get is you get that blue, I don't know if you can see that, transferring to the actual bit as well. So then that brings it a little bit more in line. Yeah? So we're getting there. So I'm liking that now. So again, what we can do is maybe use a thicker cardstock than I've obviously used to get this, and obviously my page is not straight, but that's okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that bit of that blue to bring it back into this as well. So the best, actually, what I'll do is I'll use one of my mediumists. I think it's a very similar colour. Put some of that down, it's a little bit quicker. Okay, this is the ice blue, one of my favourites actually. And again, I'm going to just use that little bit of card so I don't get too much in one puddle. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tap it on. So I'm not lifting too much, but I could probably do it with my finger. Just be careful because I've probably got black on my fingers, unfortunately. So I don't want it to be too blue, but I want it to have some blue in it. So all I'm doing is splattering that down. Okay, so that was easy. It's just a little bit easier than I find with the... And can you see now that that's got that little bit of tinge? It's not as brown, not as white as it was. Now I also want to add a little bit of brown to that as well, because I'm feeling, in fact I'll use the brush again because it's a little bit more easier for me to control than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring that in a little bit. Okay, so what I'll do is we'll make it blend better to the background, and I don't mind if I go over it. And obviously you can add more touches to this, you can colour this in different colours, you could print it onto you could stamp it onto the paper to blend in. So there's lots of different ways of doing that. But can you see now that you've got a lot more definition? Now I still think this is too dark, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit of my primer paste on my finger, as you do, and I'm just going to break that up a little bit, because I just feel it's too dark, for me anyway. So if I can bring a little bit of tapping of that in, there we go. And I'm a lot happier with that then, because it just brings a little bit more of the shadowing out, and it makes it a little bit more dimensional as well. Okay, and then what I would do is, obviously, when it's a little bit drier, because it's a bit wet at the moment, is I would start to stick this all together. Yeah. So the best way for me is to, I'm just going to take a little bit of 3D foam to stick the balloon down a little bit higher. As you can see, I use every scrap of paper I've got going. So I want that to sit sort of a little bit higher, just there. And then I'm going to stick a little bit down onto this bit as well. Not too much. And now what you would do is you would probably add a little bit of glue as well, so that you've got this really nice piece. So it's not going to go anywhere. Okay, oops, it needs to be tucked under. There you go. And you can see already how 3D that is, but we just started off with a very simple concept and the way it looked. Right, so I'm going to put something here. So I'm going to put the word art just there, because I love the word art. It's just very arty. So let's put the word art there. Now you can put it really light or you can put it dark. I'm actually going to put it quite, I'm going to use the VersaFine to put it in. Okay. And I'm going to put it there, because I think it really suits it there. And can you see that? So it just makes it a little bit more balanced. What I might do is I might put half of it over there as well. Just enough to get it into there. So then it's a bit off the page. Everybody says do it in threes. So, so So now I've got to think where I'm going to put it. Because I don't quite like it like that either. So what I might do is just get a little bit of it at the top. Not all of it. Just the T bit. So it looks like it's there, but it's not. See? And that just makes it so it's like a little bit more interesting without actually making it like 3 bits of art. Now you could even go in with your white and break that down a bit and add your white in. So you've got the edges. I love doing this effect because I think it really brings it all together. So what you're doing is just picking your primer up. Just use your fingers. You can use a brush, by the way, just because Dali uses fingers. And I like the way this. I know Pip did something with the grey yesterday like this, but as you know, Dali likes to do things differently. And what I find with the primer is it gives you a totally different look to your work. And I think it's really important that if you could get a primer in your work, if you can get a primer, then it's a really good idea. And all I'm doing is filling this up. Yeah. And now you can see this is all added so much texture just by me doing those little highlights. Okay. Now you could even come in with a card and do little more stripes into it. You could, you know, there's so much you can do. I love this bit here, little bubbly bit. Okay, so there we go. So that's that bit. So let me move all this away. So you know, if you saw it, obviously I should go and get a black bit of card. But if you saw that against a bit of black card, can you see how lovely that is going to look? Yeah. So you can see how easy it is to make something look so beautiful from just a few elements. And even this side, now you could add more to this side as well. By adding one of your butterflies, your stamps, you would see that. Okay, so let me carry on because I'm nearly finished. Keeping it nice, short and sweet today because the sun is trying to come out. Nice for me to get some gardening in. Ooh, I haven't done gardening for ages. Right, so I can't go without doing Pip's crackle stamp. Where's Pip's crackle stamp gone? Come back, crackle stamp. All is forgiven. Oh no, Pip. I think I've used it for something. Here it is. Here it is. Oh look, I've got that butterfly as well. I love that little butterfly I've got. Okay, so I cleaned all these up, put them all away, and I've taken them all out again. So let's do a little bit of crackle. I'm going to use the Distress Oxide to do a little bit of crackle. Just again to break the background up a bit, but to add a little bit more detail. You will be surprised how much you can add to a little piece of paper. You can have a bit of a crackle on her as well. I like the idea of that. Even with the blue. So can you see now, even by adding a little bit of the crackle, we're getting all these effects. So I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am, because I think it's real fun. Just to take something really, really simple and make it into something quite arty. Yeah? Okay. So I'm sorry, but I want my key on it because I'm in love with the key bit, the butterfly key. It was like, I really want to put that on it somewhere. So let's have a look. I think I could have it there. I think so. I'm just going to use this bit of scrap of paper. Pip will be killing me because I just find any scrap that I can and I just go with it. But you know, it's a bit of texture, it's a bit of card. So again, I'm going to take the little butterfly, but it looks, I should go and get a black sheet of card and I'll show you how nice it can look on a black sheet of card. And you've got 2 bits there now because, I don't know if I've inked that very well. Mind my nails because I need to do them. Okay, so there we go. Cleaning, see? Cleaning, Dolly's cleaning. And I actually really like, see now I don't want to use that because it's too nice. And I could use it in something else. See, this is what happens. I want to keep it. That's not the answer, is it, guys? What should I do? I really like the background. Let's start off with tearing it because that will make me feel a little bit better. Not much better. So sad. I don't want to lose the background because it's so beautiful. And actually, funnily enough, it's just leftovers, by the way. There we go. So let's keep tearing that. And I think this is what it's all about, is you just go for it. Well, Dolly does anyway. You know Dolly. She doesn't overthink anything. And all I'm doing is I'm getting as close as I can without actually ruining it, which is easy to do for me. And I just thought it would add a little bit more character than if I just, see? And if that was just cut and straight, it wouldn't be as, I don't think it would be as trendy. You could tell me differently. Look, I nearly tore it there. And I quite like this look. Just these little things just give you different looks. Try not to tear it all, obviously. Right, I'm going to use a little bit of that brown again, the fabric mist, and just do the edges so I can capture the edges. So sad I had to tear that up. Do you know, I'd keep everything if it was up to me. In fact, I do. Okay, so all I'm doing is just going to come in and go ahead and do this bit. Just adding a bit of colour to it so that it doesn't stand out. Now, one of the things I need to add to this is, I'll probably take my little crackle bit, is a little bit of crackle in the turquoise because it's got no turquoise in it and everything else has. Let's just put a little bit of turquoise into that. Not much, but just enough to make it fit in. Okie dokie. And what I'm going to do is, I might want to stick these down a bit better than I have. But here we go. Just going to stick this on the back. But this is the nice thing, it's just a little bit of paper I've used. I mean, just a little bit of paper. And I really like the way that sort of comes together then. There we go. I think what I will do is add a little bit of glue. Oh, there's my little stick. I was looking for that earlier, couldn't find it. Took an old paint stick. And I'm going to stick the bodice down there so that then doesn't lift off. And I'm going to stick this little bit here to that bit so that stays and doesn't pop off. See, I've even gone to a bit of trouble putting the glue on. And that way everything won't fall apart on us, hopefully. It's just taking a few seconds to set. Probably because I've put too much on. Okay, just move that out of the way. So, let me go and grab a black piece of card, so at least I can show you in its glory, as they say. So you could make it into a card, you could make it into a tag, you could make it into, doesn't quite fit there, but can I show you just like that? So now can you see Obviously, if you had the right size, you could, okay, you think about it. And then cut that all down. But how lovely. From nothing, we've created this. So I just wanted to share that with you today. So it gives you an idea of how you can work with a few inks, a few products, and get these really lovely effects. And the stamps talk for themselves. And then you could even, obviously, you wanted something like this, and then you could put just a reading page on top and put some butterflies on it. But can you see? I mean, I haven't worked with this as much as I've worked with the front side. So, but you could work with that and add some of your white primer. But just wanted to show you how beautiful it can look when you've got it all done. Could be a pocket. So, you know, you could easily put something like that in your album. I hope you've liked it. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's given you some inspiration. I think I've got to stick her arms down, otherwise she looks like she's taking off. Put a little bit of glue on her arms as well. So, but it's always good to have a play, do what you need to do. I'll probably have to cut this down as well, because as you can see there's a little bit of white there. So I'll cut this down, I'll mount it up onto some card. But, you know, if you had a tag or something that you wanted to put it on, then you could do that. You can just see how lovely. You don't really need to see my little broken paintbrush thing, do you? But can you see how lovely that will look when it's all mounted? Oh, isn't that pretty? So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm hoping you're enjoying the new collections as much as we are, but it just gives you an idea. Now that could be a planner page, that could be anything really. You could make it into a tag, you could make it into a card, you can make it into a journal page. So really, whatever you want to do, put it on the front of like a little notebook. I think I've got a notebook, but the notebook is a little bit big. If you had something like, I've got loads of old diaries and stuff, but if you wanted to, look, just look at that. Oh look, somebody's made it just for that. I just picked that up. Well, that looks quite nice actually, and I'd probably edge it all with black. But there you go, you see. Now if you edge it all with a little bit of black, and then you've got all of that. Look at that. Oh look, I've got a new cover for my little book. That's brilliant, because it says 2014, my craft diary. So now I've actually got something which is very modernised. And in fact I could write the little bits of inspire notes there, or just the notes word. Yeah? Well, thank you very, very, very much for watching me. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And I will see you next week at 3 o'clock. And I know Pip is on at 10 o'clock in Canada and 5 o'clock in the UK until this weekend. So actually, she'll be on at 6 o'clock. So just to confuse you all, because our clocks also change. They change a week before us. So that's where the confusion comes in usually. Bizarre world. So I hope you're all well, looking after yourselves. Please take care. And, you know, have a go at making a little album. I mean, look at that. And if you don't want to make one using the papers, you want to make one using your own art, then do one with your own art. There's just so much you can do. And don't forget Jill's beautiful coasters that she did, which I shared with you earlier, with this beautiful crackle. Okay then. So, I'm going to love and leave you. Have a lovely evening. Have a lovely morning in Canada. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye for now.